Welcome back to the BagTalk podcast. I'm your host, of course, Jay Rose. And I had this video supposed to be uploaded by now, actually, but I didn't like what I recorded yesterday. So here we are. We're just going to hop right into the hoops. And I want to start off with saying, man, am I disappointed with the Boston Celtics? Immensely disappointed with the Celtics. I can't believe that I just saw that. Not only the fact that they went to a game 7 with the 8th seeded Miami Heat, not only that they were down 3-0, but the fact that they came back from down 3-0, had the luxury of being at home in the Garden, and to not give your best effort and get absolutely blown out of your own gym is insane. I can't blame Jason Tatum too much because, as we know, Jason Tatum was very much hobbled. We saw him get injured in that first quarter. He tweaked his ankle. But either way, the rest of the players on our roster got to step up. That's a deep team. To watch Jaylen Brown just play horribly, it's very questionable. It's suspect. Watching Jaylen Brown have 8 turnovers, he looked like he couldn't dribble the ball. He shot like 8 for 23. He only had 19 points. That's a terrible look. When your star goes out and you can't step up and give me a good game, one good game. I need one. This is it. If you don't have a good game here, your season is over, and he couldn't deliver on that. So I'm very disappointed in Jaylen Brown 100%. The Celtics have already said that they have plans of re-signing him and extending his contract. He might get a supermax, which I think is crazy. $290 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but I don't know. I don't know about that contract. I was of the impression that they were going to make some moves, especially because of the fact that they've lost quite a bit. They've gone to the finals once out of their, 5 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, 4 Eastern Conference Finals appearances. So I'm definitely disappointed in the Celtics. I said this before and I'll say it again. They were supposed to come into this playoff run and stampede over the competition. They were supposed to be head and shoulders over most teams. The only teams that they weren't supposed to be head and shoulders over was probably the Bucks. And that was the real outlook at the beginning of this playoff series. This playoff run, the entire playoff run. That was what it was supposed to be. And man, did this whole thing just get flipped on its head. This whole thing got flipped on its head. I have no more words for that. Like, I just can't really believe that I saw that series go down like that. Charles Barkley said something that I thought was really interesting. And he said, the Celtics win based on their talent. They don't really play basketball the correct way, which I don't really fully agree with because their system is very effective, but they definitely do win based off of talent, 100%. They can get out-coached, and once that happens, it's very hard for them to come back. The slight tweaks that Spo made and Jimmy made, it made it hard for the Celtics to operate. I definitely noticed that Jimmy's pump fakes had the Celtics being terrorized for most of the series. Jimmy pump faking got him so many and ones. By the time game 4 came around, they weren't biting anymore. And Jimmy kept pump faking, so his production went down. But by the time Jimmy recollected himself and said, okay, I'm going to stop hesitating. I'm going to go up strong. It was over from that point on. They didn't really know what to do from that point. Now that Jimmy's being aggressive, he can start pump faking again. And he can mix up his moves. They're not going to know what's coming next. And that really is going to just fry them. It's not going to be a good look for the Celtics. It's not. I definitely think that they have too much talent to be going out like this. I think this is the most talented team and most well-rounded team in the NBA. So to see them go out to a Heat team with like a 6-7 man rotation and one of their best players are missing is very, very questionable from the Celtics, 100%. Like I said, I can't possibly be more disappointed in them. Not only did they not come out of this series, which is embarrassing in and of its own, they barely even got to the Eastern Conference Finals. They were only here because Joel Embiid choked. And to be honest, they never really looked like that dominant team we wanted them to be. Even playing the Hawks, it looked like they just weren't all the way there. So I don't really think that we ever saw the Celtics that we expected to see in this playoff run. And they're going home. Congrats to the Heat, man. They showed a lot of resilience. I'm not entirely sure how they stayed confident that entire time. If I'm writing all these checks and saying we go into the finals and to see another team come back from down 3-0 and now we're in a game 7, to see them not get shaken from that completely is incredible. To see them come out with confidence, Duncan Robinson had confidence, Caleb Martin had confidence, Jimmy Butler had confidence. It was just a great thing to see. They really came out and they put the hammer down, and that's what you need to do. I already spoke about the fact that we're getting a Nuggets Heat final, and I'm very excited for that series. I think the Heat have played a very energetic brand of basketball and a very calculated brand of basketball. I think that they're going to have a decent series, but the Nuggets are on a different level, man. The Nuggets have looked amazing, and I think that they're prepared for anything that the Heat will throw at them. And I also think that Jokic is going to pose a lot of problems for the Heat. The Heat are not a big team. They don't have a lot of length, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to see the Celtics go to the finals. I think they have a lot more looks that they can throw at Joker, and I don't think the Heat have those same looks. There's going to be a lot of mismatches, and to be completely honest with you, I don't think Bam guarding Jokic one-on-one is ever going to work. I think Jokic is going to have a field day this series. So they're definitely going to have to find other ways to get their stops because Jokic is absolutely going to terrorize them. I don't see a reality where Bam doesn't get a 30-point triple-double dropped on his head every single night. I really don't. Not only is Bam due for a couple of lax games, he's also not the biggest center in the league. And Jokic is huge and heavy, so it's going to be a tough cover for him. Jokic is a tough cover for every center in the league, so I just don't think Bam is going to really have the facilities to hold him. I don't. Jamal Murray was also hooping the entire playoff run, so if he goes into the finals and continues that, it's going to look real tough. It's going to look real tough for the Heat. Tyler Hero is slated to come back around Game 3. We don't know what he's going to look like. Hopefully he can bring them some good production. I think that might make this series a little closer, so I hope Miami can pull out a game or two before Tyler Hero comes back, so they're not, in a hole trying to dig themselves out. Just some thoughts about the playoffs as a whole, because this playoff run has been weird, to say the least. Very weird. I don't think anybody predicted a Nuggets Heat final. I don't think anybody predicted that. I didn't think the Nuggets were going to make it out the West, but they definitely proved me wrong. They showed that they're a dominant force, and it's going to take a lot to beat them. In the Heat, I really don't know what got into them. The Heat flipped on so many switches. They just turned into a crazy team out of nowhere. They were not this team the entire season, and the fact that Tyler Hero was out and they did this is crazy. A lot of the juggernaut teams fell real early. We saw the Bucks go out in the first round, obviously. We saw the Sixers go out in the second round, and the Celtics didn't make it to the finals. They went out in the Eastern Conference final. I don't know if you can count that as going out early, but that's early for me, especially with the competition that they faced. And then you look out west, the Suns just did not pan out. That team did not look as good as we thought they were going to look at all. The Clippers got injured again. They were supposed to make another deep playoff run, but they just didn't have their players, which is usually the case for the Clippers, obviously. The Lakers actually did a lot more than I thought they would. I didn't think they were going to make clockwork of the Warriors like that. I didn't think they were going to make clockwork of the Grizzlies like that. And they honestly pushed the Nuggets pretty far for what it was. They got swept. Each of those games were close. They could have pulled them out. And honestly, I think if they had a little more time together and if LeBron was at full strength, it would have been a different series. I'm not sure if they'd win or not, but they would have at least got a couple of games off the Nuggets, which I didn't expect. A lot of the lower seeds did better than I expected them to do in this playoff run, i.e. the Lakers and the Heat. Do I think the play-in tournament is good because of that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And actually, I think the fact that those teams had the opportunity to get knocked out of the playoffs because they lost a play-in game is kind of crazy to me. The Miami Heat genuinely almost got knocked out, and they're in the finals right now. So that tells me enough about the play-in game. I don't think it's actually beneficial towards the playoffs, especially because those two teams that I said made it far were going to make the playoffs anyway, play-in or not. If the play-in didn't exist, they're in. That's my thoughts on it. I think that this has been a very interesting playoff run, to say the least. Definitely unpredictable. Added to the fun factor. We saw a lot of great games, a lot of great series. I'm happy with this playoffs as a whole. Definitely not what I was expecting, but just we got some good matchups. We got some good storylines. We got some great games. We got some great moments. And, whoever wins this finals is going to make history. Facts. If the Heat win, first 8 seed to win the final. Nuggets win, first finals win in NBA history. First finals win in franchise history, not NBA history, excuse me. Before we get out of here, I'm going to give my prediction. I got Nuggets in 6. I'm going to say Nuggets in 6. But that being said, this is the BagTalk pod, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next one.